know that deep down, like in your heart, that there's a purpose, there's a reason for everything. We may not understand it at the time.
They were the picture-perfect American family. A loving husband, Chris, his devoted wife, Shanann, and two beautiful, bright-eyed daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 2-year-old Celeste. A family perpetually smiling for the camera across social media.
Husband, that's the best part. We earned this trip. All inclusive. I mean, you can't beat that, you guys.
But behind the cheerful posts lay a crumbling foundation of debt, deception, and a marriage under siege. We'll examine the explosive love triangle involving Nichol Kessinger, the secret motive, and the horrifying lengths Chris went to, desperately attempting to bury his truth and his family in a remote oil field. This uncensored look into the Watts family murders explores how a seemingly devoted husband and father became the nation's most reviled family killer. Before Shanann Rushek became Shanann Watts, she was a woman battling for control over her own life and health. Her early adulthood was marked by chronic pain and health struggles, eventually leading to a diagnosis of the autoimmune disease, lupus. This constant struggle fueled a relentless, almost fierce ambition. Following an earlier, somewhat rocky marriage, Shanann was determined to build a successful future on her own terms, one where she was in control of her environment and her body. Her search for a partner, someone to complete the future she had envisioned, ended when she met Chris Watts on Facebook in 2010. Their connection was instant. Chris was quiet, steady, and quickly fell for Shanann's vibrant personality and optimism.
Request from Chris on Facebook, and I was like, oh, what the heck, I'm never gonna meet him. Except, well, one thing led to another, and 8 years later, we have 2 kids, we live in Colorado, and he's the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Chris and Shanann married in November of 2012, projecting the image of a committed, loving couple ready to build a life. However, trouble was already brewing behind the scenes. Chris's parents and his sister refused to attend the wedding and openly disapproved of his relationship with Shanann. His family reportedly never warmed up to Shanann and often clashed with her over personality differences and family dynamics. His mother, Cindy Watts in particular, felt that Shanann was controlling and overly critical of Chris, believing she isolated him from his family. Despite the family tension, the couple continued building their life together in Colorado and soon became parents. Their first daughter, Bella, was born in December 2013. Followed by Celeste, affectionately called Cece, in July 2015. To the outside world, the Watts family appeared happy, frequently sharing glimpses of their life on social media. Many of Shanann's videos showed Chris playing with his daughters, laughing and showing affection, portraying the image of a devoted, hands-on father.
Go, Cece! Go, Bella! Go, girls! Blow on it. She wants you to blow on it. Shake your booty, Cece! Go, Cece! What?
But behind the smiling photos and carefully curated posts, the reality was far more fragile. Chris and Shanann were under mounting financial strain. In 2015, they filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, overwhelmed by student loans, credit card balances, and nearly $70,000 in additional debt. Despite a combined annual income of approximately $90,000 to $100,000, most of which came from Chris's job at Anadarko Petroleum, the couple reported having almost no savings. Shanann threw herself into the world of multi-level marketing. She began working from home for a health and wellness company named Thrive, hoping to ease their financial burdens and secure the lifestyle she dreamed of.
Hey everybody! So I'm home with the family, and they're excited to try the new Pro Bars, and they came in, I think, yesterday. So we have cookies and cream, and we have lemon meringue. Who wants Pro Bars?
I do.
All right, Bella gets cookies and cream, Cece gets cookies and cream.
Ready?
Ready?
Set.
You're the taste testers.
Regardless of their continuing struggles, both Chris and Shanann made the decision to have a third child. In May of 2018, Shanann surprised Chris with the news that she was pregnant. She would later find out that she was having a baby boy that she planned to name Nico.
We did it again. I like that shirt. Really?
Really?
That's awesome. So pink means...
That's just the test.
I know. It just says the pink is going to be girls.
I don't know. Just the test.
That's awesome.
Chris appears surprised and then excited about the news, but beneath his smile, he's hiding a dark secret. The constant strain of keeping up appearances, combined with deep-seated marital friction, had hollowed out their relationship. Shanann became increasingly concerned about Chris's distant behavior. He was silently retreating into a world where his family was simply an obligation he longed to escape. Enter Nichol Kessinger, a co-worker Chris met on the job, who soon became the woman he would secretly have an affair with. He saw her as everything that Shanann wasn't. She was a few years younger, independent, and somewhat adventurous.
Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I am having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Chris was captivated by the attention and admiration Nichol gave him, and Nichol was instantly drawn to Chris's quiet demeanor. To her, he appeared to be a humble, soft-spoken man going through the motions of an unhappy marriage. Perhaps she also saw him as easy to manipulate. Despite knowing Chris was married, Nichol continued the relationship, believing his marriage was nearing its end. Chris assured her that he and Shanann were separating and that their relationship was effectively over. Meanwhile, Shanann was publicly posting on Facebook about her pregnancy and her love for Chris.
All right, you guys, so we go for our first ultrasound at 3-ish, 3:15. And I'm kind of nervous because every time you go, you're like, is there 1? Is there 2? Is there 3? Bella says there's 5. I know. Boy. Chris wants a boy. I hope it's a boy for him. It'll make him happy.
It was when Shanann took the girls on a 5-week trip to visit family in North Carolina that Chris's affair with Nichol intensified.
Are we up? Yeah. Have fun? Are you having fun in the rain? Is that fun? Did you have fun?
Did you play in the rain?
Are you playing in the rain?
You played in the rain. You got all wet.
Say hi, everybody.
Did you play in the rain?
Yeah, was it fun?
You got all wet too.
Bella kinda did. She didn't like it too much.
You didn't like it.
Living apart from his wife made it easier for him to lead a double life, but it also became more difficult to hide. He began ignoring Shanann's texts, lying about where he was, and emotionally distancing himself from his family. Chris spent several nights at Nichol's apartment, including the night before the 4th of July. That morning, he woke up to multiple missed calls from Shanann. When he told Nichol he needed to go home in case his wife called back, she was furious. In that moment, Nichol realized she would always come second to his wife and children. She accompanied Chris to his house that morning, pouting all the way, marking the beginning of growing tension in their relationship, often fueled by her frustration that they had no firsts together. She told Chris that she wanted to give him his first son. They wrote love letters to each other, spent hours on the phone when they weren't together, and went on romantic dates and camping trips. Nichol sent Chris racy photos, which he hid inside a secret calculator app on his phone. She began searching online for phrases like marrying your mistress and browsing websites for a wedding dress. At the same time, she obsessively monitored Shanann's public Facebook page, watching every post from the woman she intended to replace. Chris, once a dedicated father and husband, had become a man consumed by fantasy. One where he could erase his old life and start anew with the woman who made him feel unburdened and free. In the meantime, Shanann's anxiety over the state of their marriage began to grow. She was still in North Carolina, and Chris was barely responding to her texts and acting indifferent toward the upcoming arrival of their son. Sensing that something was terribly wrong, Shanann confided in several close friends, expressing heartbreak over how cold and detached Chris had become. She told a friend that Chris texted her and said that he's scared to death about this third baby. He's happy with just Bella and Celeste and doesn't want another baby. On July 31st, Chris flew out to North Carolina to spend the final week of Shanann's trip with his family. But before he left, Nichol confronted him with an ultimatum. He needed to choose between her and his family. The double life he'd been living was quickly collapsing, and the pressure was mounting. When Chris arrived at the airport, Bella and Celeste ran into his arms, squealing with joy at the sight of their father. Shanann, hopeful but wary, recorded the tender reunion on her phone, later posting the video online. To outsiders, it looked like a heartwarming family moment, but behind Chris's forced smile was a man already imagining a life without them.
Hey! Hey! Airplane! I know. I did. Yes, I did.
During that final week in North Carolina, Shanann tried to hold on to what was left of their marriage. She filled the days with family outings, determined to make happy memories for the girls. Chris joined Shanann and the children on a trip to the beach, Bella and Cece's first time seeing the ocean. Shanann captured their laughter and play on video, but behind the camera, her heart was breaking.
Hey everybody, so this is the girls' first time to the beach. And they're running from the ocean. Warm up period. Cece wants to go, but she wants Bella to go with her. Come on, girls. Come on. Is this your first time to the beach?
Throughout the week, Chris remained cold and withdrawn, spending more time working out than interacting with his family. He hadn't even kissed her when he arrived at the airport and seemed to barely want to touch her after spending a month apart from each other. Years later, Chris would admit to author Shanann that while in North Carolina, he had secretly given Shanann the drug oxycodone in an attempt to cause her to miscarry. It was a chilling revelation that showed just how far his detachment had gone and how dark his thoughts had become. As the trip continued, tension only deepened. Shanann organized a birthday party for little Cece, who was turning 3. Chris's parents, who also lived in North Carolina, were invited, but they never showed up. The rift between Shanann and his family had reached a breaking point after what became known as the infamous Nutgate incident, an argument that erupted at Cindy Watts's home when she served ice cream containing nuts, despite knowing that Cece had a severe allergy. For Shanann, it was a betrayal of trust. She felt that Cece wasn't safe with Chris's mother, and this further fueled Chris's anger at Shanann. After an emotionally strained final week in North Carolina, the Watts family returned home to Colorado together. Shanann hoped that being back in their routine might help repair their fractured marriage, but the distance between them only grew. Just days later, on August 9th, she left again, this time for a business trip to Arizona with her close friend and co-worker, Nichol Atkinson. While she was away, Chris took full advantage of her absence. He hired a babysitter to watch Bella and Cece, telling her that he was going out with friends to a baseball game. In reality, he met up with Nichol Kessinger for dinner at the Lazy Dog restaurant. When Shanann checked their credit card statement, she noticed the unusually high charge and immediately grew suspicious. The total was far more than what one person would spend on a meal. During the trip, Shanann confided in friends that she felt utterly miserable. She barely ate, couldn't sleep, and seemed consumed by worry over Chris's growing emotional distance. She was unraveling, sensing that something was terribly wrong, but still clinging to the hope that her marriage could somehow be saved. Shanann's flight home on August 12th was delayed, pushing her arrival into the early morning hours of August 13th, 2018. At 1:48 a.m., her friend Nichol dropped her off at the family's Frederick, Colorado home and waited in her car to make sure that Shanann made her way into the house safely. Surveillance footage from the Watts Ring doorbell camera captured Shanann for the final time, carrying her suitcase up the front steps and quietly entering the house. It was the last known image of her alive. By the next morning, everything began to unravel. When Shanann missed an important doctor's appointment and failed to return texts and calls, Nichol grew immediately concerned. She drove to the Watts home, hoping that Shanann had just overslept, but the house was eerily still. The front door was locked, and there was no sign of the girls or Shanann inside. She saw Shanann's shoes through the window, and her car, along with the girls' car seats, were still in the garage. Something was terribly wrong. Nichol called the police for a welfare check.
All County Communications, this is Stacy.
Hi, Stacey. My name's Nicole, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about a friend of mine. I dropped her off at her house at 2 in the morning last night because we were out of town together, and we were on the way back from the airport, and she was having issues, and she's pregnant. And I haven't been able to get a hold of her this morning, and I've gone to her house, and her car's there, and stuff like that, but she won't answer the door, she won't answer phone calls, she won't answer text messages, and I'm just really, really concerned. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning, and she didn't go to it, and I don't know what to do. I've called him and talked to him, and he said that she went on a play date with her other 2 daughters, but, like, if she went on a play date, they're both in car seats. Why would she not take her car?
Perfectly understandable.
And then I said, like, Chris, can you just come home and check to make sure she's okay? Because the shoes she wears every single day are right inside her door.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I'll be there in 3 minutes. Well, that was 45 minutes ago. And I called him and asked him again, can you please come home? And he's like, I'm 45 minutes out.
Officers arrived, eventually joined by Chris, who appeared calm but strangely detached. He claimed that Shanann had taken the girls to a friend's house, though he couldn't say which one. He unlocked the front door, allowing the officer Nichol and her 2 children to enter the home. Almost immediately, they noticed signs that something was terribly wrong. Shanann's purse was sitting on the kitchen counter, along with her cell phone, and inside her bag was Cece's medication, something Shanann never left behind. To Nichol, that was the moment everything shifted.
Does she work?
Yeah, she works from home.
Oh, from home?
She works, this is her lifeline. So yeah, that thing turns back on, it's gonna start blowing up. Oh yeah, trust me.
It was shut down?
She's in the flight, right?
She knew Shanann would never go anywhere without her phone or her daughter's medicine. Her instincts told her something terrible had happened. As the search continued, Chris's behavior grew increasingly suspicious. He seemed oddly composed, his tone flat, his movements stiff. Guilt was painted all over his face.
Did she tell you anything about leaving, moving out?
Not moving out. I mean,
The last time I talked to her was this morning. She said she was going to take the kids to a friend's house, and she asked where she was going to be. And then I've texted her today. I've never heard anything. But the car's here. Car seats are here. Unless somebody came and picked her up. But the people that I know, nobody's heard from her. Nobody's seen her.
Right.
While others frantically looked for Shanann, he busied himself walking from room to room, offering rehearsed explanations that didn't make sense. His lack of urgency stood in stark contrast to the panic that Shanann's friend displayed. Police body cam footage captured Chris accompanying officers next door to his neighbor Nate Tranastic's house to review surveillance video from Nate's security camera. The footage showed no sign of Shanann and the girls leaving the house. However, it did show Chris backing his work truck into the driveway early that morning, an unusual move that immediately caught Nate's attention. As they watched, Chris fidgeted nervously, rocking back and forth with his hands on his head, his eyes darting toward the TV and then away. The neighbor later told police that Chris seemed like he was not acting right, visibly anxious and talking excessively. That brief clip would later become one of the first major clues suggesting that Chris Watts wasn't a worried husband at all, but a man desperately trying to conceal a horrifying secret.
My detective just showed up, so he'll probably want to talk to you. He'd probably, like I said, he might have you call at the bank and see if there's any kind of activity.
A massive search effort was launched, with drones, neighbors, and officers combing the area for any sign of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste. The following day, Chris stood on his front porch for a local news interview, pleading for his family's safe return. But instead of showing desperation or distress, his tone was flat and his body language unnervingly casual. He shifted from foot to foot, crossed his arms, and even smiled awkwardly at moments. Chris spoke about having had an emotional conversation with Shanann the morning she disappeared, but offered few details.
I mean, right now I don't even want to just throw anything out there. I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. But I mean, could she just taken off? I don't know. But if somebody has her and they're not safe, I want them back now. That's what's in my head. If they're safe right now, they're gonna come back. But if they're not safe right now, that's the not knowing part. If they're not safe, last night I had every light in the house on. I was hoping that I would just ran over by the kids running in the door and just barrel rushing me, but it didn't happen. And it was just a traumatic night trying to be here. My kids are my life. I mean, those smiles light up my life. For nobody to be here last night and to go into their rooms and know that I wasn't going to turn the rain machines on, and I know that I wasn't going to turn their monitor on, and know I wasn't going to kiss them to bed tonight. That's why last night was just horrible. I couldn't do it. I want everybody to just come home. Wherever they're at, come home. That's what I want.
To viewers and investigators alike, something about his demeanor felt off, less like a grieving husband and more like a man performing a role he didn't quite believe in. He was called in for questioning at the Frederick Police Department. During the interrogation, Chris maintained that his wife and daughters were simply missing, but inconsistencies in his story quickly surfaced. Investigators noted his lack of emotion, his steady tone, and his almost mechanical recounting of events. They were already seeing through the cracks.
All the police cars, all the news, all the canine units, it's making me lean the other direction about someone took her. Okay. But it's just, if someone took her, it would have to have been someone she knew. Because there's no sign of anything being disturbed, broken. Mm-hmm. But that's the way I'm leaning now. At first I thought for real she was just decompressing somewhere. I thought she was safe, even though everything in the house was left there. But now it's just, after the day with the news crews and everything, it feels more the other direction. and it's freaking me out because I have no idea where they are.
Unbeknownst to Chris, Nichol Kessinger voluntarily contacted the police to inform them about their relationship. Before meeting with police, she had deleted text messages and call logs from her phone, an action that immediately raised suspicions about what she might be trying to hide. Nichol was adamant that Chris had told her his marriage was ending and that she had no idea his wife was pregnant. But her search history would eventually tell a different story. Even her appearance that day has caught the attention of viewers. Despite the sweltering August heat in Colorado, she arrived wearing long sleeves and pants, a detail that seemed oddly out of place and has fueled further speculation about what she might be concealing, perhaps scratches on her arms.
I had said, hey, when you go to North Carolina, I really think you should try to fix things with your wife. And he kept asking, well, what about us? And I was trying to kind of take a step back and see if he would fix things before attempting to pursue things with me, because I wanted to know that if all of these things he's saying, like, yes, we're getting separated, and yes, you know, all of these things that he's saying are happening, I wanted to know that it was like, you were doing this like you said you were prior to me coming in your life, and it had nothing to do with me, you know. And so for me it was like, I really wanted them to fix it. I would have just left the situation.
Nichol claimed that she had never said anything to Chris about his kids or his wife being a problem. The detective tried to get a sense of her attitude toward children in general. Texts between Nichol and her friend Charlotte revealed that she wasn't too thrilled about Chris having kids.
Now let me ask you about the text with you and Charlotte.
Yes.
You talk about children, and he's got his own kids, and that makes you kind of uncomfortable because you'd like to have your own family. Put that in context for me. Is that a fair statement the way I'm saying it?
I mean, I guess. There was never anything I said to him though.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Did you ever say anything to him about
Never.
Anything about his kids being a problem? Anything about his wife being a problem?
Never. I always try to be so inclusive with them. And even with her, when I was talking to her, it wasn't that his kids were an issue. It was just, this man already has a life. Should I go build my own, you know, with somebody who hasn't done that yet? And then she was the one that was saying, you know, I was engaged once and it didn't work, and now I'm engaged again, and she's trying to tell me, like, it doesn't matter, like, I'm on my second time of going through this, and she's like, I love this man very, very much, and she was saying, like, he's not gonna love you less because he's already been through marriage once and been separated and already had kids. Like, he's not gonna.
Those references were never made to him though about children.
Never.
Notice how Nichol rarely says the names of Shanann, Bella, and Cece. She refers to the children as those kids or those little girls. This is a common tactic used to distance oneself.
You have to look at it from the perspective that I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And how it could be misconstrued or made out to sound something another way. That's why I wanted to give you the opportunity to say what it really means. Okay?
No, I don't mean any harm towards those kids. I always thought they were so cute. When he showed me those pictures, he was all about them, you know. And not only that, but it's like, once you guys get those texts, you will see, like, there's not very much mention of his children. And if there is mention of his children, it's always like cute stuff where it's like, hey, you should show them this, or hey, this apartment's great for them, or, you know, what do you think of bunk beds? And, you know, like, those little girls, like, reminded me and my little sister. They're like the same age. Right. Yeah, I mean, like, it was so cute. Like, he would call his little daughter, the younger one, Cece, he'd call her Rampage. He's like, she's wild. And it used to just make me smile because my little sister was totally Rampage. And it just was kind of like spot on, you know? And so, like, it just kind of made me think, like, okay, these guys are going through a divorce. at the same age that I was at when my parents went through a divorce. And it's like, how did I handle that? You know, and I tell them, like, you know, this is what happened when my parents separated and we were this old. And just try to, like, give him a reference because I gave a damn.
Right, okay.
I mean, but just because I care about him and I care about his kids and all of that doesn't mean that I'm ready to turn around and, like, commit
Did
everything.
he ever say anything like that? Like, do I have to get rid of my kids, or
No.
do I, you know?
This shocked me just as much as I think it shocked the rest of the world.
Meanwhile, Chris is in another room being interviewed for a second time by Agent Tammy Lee. Determined to break through his web of lies, detectives urged him to take a polygraph test. Believing he could outsmart the system, Chris agreed. But the results were damning. When asked if he had physically harmed Shanann, Bella, or Celeste, his responses registered as blatant lies. When confronted with the test results, Chris finally admitted to having an affair with Nichol Kessinger, but continued to deny knowing where his family was.
Did you physically cause Shanann's disappearance?
No.
Are you lying about the last time you saw Shanann?
No.
Do you know where Shanann is now?
No.
How do you feel?
Horrible.
Horrible?
Nervous.
Yeah?
The atmosphere in the interrogation room began to shift. Detectives Lee and Coder leaned in, methodically breaking down his defenses. They told Chris that the polygraph had not gone well and pressed him to tell the truth. His calm facade began to crumble.
So, it is completely clear that you were not honest during the testing, and I think you already know that. You did not pass the polygraph test.
Okay.
Okay. So now we need to talk about what actually happened. And I feel like you're probably ready to do that.
I didn't lie to you on that polygraph, I promise.
Chris,
I know.
Chris, stop. It's time. Just stop for a minute. Take a deep breath. I want you to take a deep breath right now.
There's a reason you feel sick to your stomach. And when people hold stuff inside, it makes you physically ill. And I can just tell on your face, I could tell from the second you walked in that you were wanting to just come clean and just be done with this. And I appreciate that because you knew sitting down in that chair that you weren't going to pass today. And you knew I was going to find out because I told you that. And then you continued to stay knowing that you could, at the end, say, you know what, I just need to get this off my chest. Like, I just need to tell you what happened.
I'm not trying to make anything continue. Like, I want them back home, like...
But you know they're not coming back home. You know that.
I don't know in the back of my head. I hope they come back home.
But you know they're not.
I hope they come back home.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know they're not coming back home. I don't know where they're at. I do not know where they are at. If I could have my babies back home right now, I would. I want them back. I want everybody back. I cheated on her emotionally. I cheated on her. And I feel absolutely horrible about this, but that's what I've been holding. When I didn't go to the Rockies game, I was with her. Okay. I went to dinner with her.
Agent Tammy Lee continued pressing for the truth, gently shifting her approach. She asked Chris if Shanann did something to the girls, a well-known interrogation technique used to deflect blame onto the victim in hopes that the perpetrator will feel safe enough to open up.
Someone made a mistake, whether it was you or Shanann. And you either cleaned up after Shanann or you made the mistake. And I mean, I want to believe that maybe Shanann did it and you felt compelled to fix this so Shanann didn't look bad. That's what I want to believe. But I don't know, you're not telling me that, so it makes me think the worst. Like, did you do that to all three of them?
I did not do anything to these kids. I did not do anything.
What did Shanann do to them? Tell us, Chris. Chicks are crazy.
Can I go talk to my dad or something?
Absolutely.
Come.
Do you want to bring him in here?
No, I just can't talk to my dad. Like, I flew across the country.
Hey, Chris.
I can't. How about this?
If we brought your dad in here, would you please tell him what happened?
The moment she introduced the idea, Chris's entire demeanor changed. Detectives recognized that the strategy had worked. He had taken the bait. His guarded posture softened, and he asked to speak to his father in private, where he seized on the suggestion, claiming that Shanann had harmed the children and that he reacted in a fit of rage.
Hey, Chris, we're going to let you have however much time you need, okay?
Okay. You gonna leave us in there or no?
Yes.
Okay. I know.
Tell us what's going on with anything, or?
It's, polygraph. Failed it.
Failed it.
Yeah, because there's
Too much emotions.
So, I mean, they're not gonna let me go. I don't want to protect her.
What?
I don't want to protect her.
You don't want to protect her?
I don't know what else to say.
What happened? Huh? She hurt him?
Yeah. And then I freaked out.
What now?
I freaked out and I hurt her.
You hurt her. Did she kill her?
They were blue.
Both of them?
Yeah.
She took both of them to death.
I freaked out in the same thing with her. I don't want to say. I don't want to say it though.
No, you lost it and choke her or?
That's just rage. I hadn't.
Chris told his father that Shanann had killed their daughters and that in a moment of blind rage, he strangled her in retaliation. Chris's father may have bought this story, but the detectives knew better. They knew Shanann, by every account a devoted mother, would never harm her girls. In time, the truth would unravel.
Oh my goodness. Come give me hugs. Oh. I love you, girl.
I got the baby a hug.
You want to give the baby a hug? I love you, Bella. You're so sweet. Give me a kiss.
Mommy. Mommy.
Yes,
Under mounting pressure, Chris finally admitted that Shanann had not hurt the children at all. He was the one who had killed his entire family and disposed of their bodies. Now it was time to find Shanann, Bella, and Celeste and bring them home.
Did the hard part. All you have left is you tell us where they're at.
We can help you get them out of the cold.
They're gone. There's no bringing them back.
Well, where are they?
That first location I went to that day. I didn't know what to do.
I know.
I didn't know what to fucking do. Like none of this made sense.
You and me and Tammy and Ronnie get in the car and just drive out there?
Just point general direction.
You just point? Chris, I know they're gone, but they're still your babies, and you're still their dad.
And you don't want them out there.
I don't want them out there.
And you don't want someone else to find them out there. You don't, I promise you.
When investigators asked him where his family was, he quietly revealed the truth. He told them that Shanann, Bella, and Celeste were at an oil site, Survey 319, where he worked on the day of the murders. The site was located about 45 minutes from their home in Frederick, Colorado.
That looks familiar to you? What is that?
It's the PRC Survey 319.
Okay. Whereabouts is Shanann and the girls?
How old is this picture?
Today.
That's today. Shanann right there.
Okay, can you mark it for me? Thanks. I think it's the paper, so just give me a... The S for Shanann, okay, and where are the girls at?
Here.
In these?
Mm-hmm.
So which one is, do you know which one?
Are they in the tanks? Can somebody who doesn't know what they're doing open those? Okay, it's easy to open.
What's in the tanks?
It's a mixture of oil and water.
There was a sheet found down here?
Mm-hmm.
Where's that from?
That was what Shanann was wrapped in.
What about the girlies? What were they wrapped in? Just in their pajamas? Not with their blankets or anything? Where did their blankets and toys and stuff go?
Probably flew away in the wind or something right here.
Where did you set them or put them?
It was right here with that.
So, how did you dig this out? I'm assuming that's under dirt. How did you dig that?
It's a shovel in the back of my truck. That's what I always have.
It's like a work shovel? Is it still there? How was Shanann dressed?
Shirt and underwear.
Is that what she got into bed with? Do you remember what color her shirt was or her underwear?
I think her shirt was either black or gray. Underwear was probably blue.
How much time passed, do you think, from the time that she was back in the bed until you put them in the truck?
I'm not sure.
Are we talking minutes, hours, something else?
From when I left the house.
No, like from when you got her into bed to when you put them in the trunk. How long a time was that?
So like from when pushing it in my truck, from the bed to the truck.
Yeah, from your master bed to the truck, yeah.
Minutes.
Okay. Cause you talked about covering her up or something.
Yeah. And the sheet.
Is there anything else about anything out here that has stuff that you've left in certain spots, or you sure their blankets and toys aren't gonna be in there as well?
Not because it was right here with that sheet.
Can you do me a huge favor and just write your name on the bottom? Just so I know that we didn't make those marks. I'm just gonna write the date on it, okay? 8/15/18 at 5:56.
Detectives immediately dispatched teams to the site to recover the bodies. The scene that awaited them would haunt every investigator who stepped onto that desolate stretch of land.
So it sounds like, it feels like to me, now we know pretty well how to go get them. Is there anything else we need to know?
About how to get them?
Yeah. Does someone have to climb up to the top and unscrew something and then lower something down to get them?
They're like, it's just a hatch on the top, and they're like 20-foot tanks.
The investigators were stunned when they realized Chris had placed the girls' bodies inside the oil tanks. The openings were shockingly small, barely large enough for a child's body to fit through. Struggling to comprehend the inhumanity of it, they pressed Chris to confirm his statement, asking again and again if he was certain the girls were in there. The recovery, they warned him, would be incredibly dangerous and emotionally devastating for everyone involved.
Hey, Chris. We just have a question for you about the site. Are you 100% positive that Bella and Celeste are in these tanks? How did you get them in the tanks? 'Cause
The hatch on top.
the hatch. How do you access that?
You walk upstairs.
And then what?
Open it.
So they were saying like you could barely fit an arm through that.
It's a
How big is
hatch.
it?
It's just like, you can use, that's how we gauge the tanks.
So you think it's about like, just like a pot, or a, what's that thing on the ground of the street?
Like a manhole?
Like a manhole cover, like is it that big?
It's not that big, no.
Okay. Was it hard to get them in there? Did you have to push or anything, or?
Not really.
Okay. We're sure, you're
Yeah,
sure?
yeah, yes.
Okay, like we're gonna have to drain these tanks, it's gonna be kind of
Okay.
a mess, so I just wanna make sure that you're being truthful about that. And is it because, is Shanann here because she couldn't, like, could you not lift her all the way up there, or you couldn't? Would she have been too big to fit in that hole? Did you know that already?
Not just from working the whole field, and then do that.
Okay. Did they drop down? Like, could you hear them drop? Like, did it seem like they dropped a ways?
One seemed emptier than the other.
Which one do you think?
To the left one.
The one that Bella's in?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did it sound like she would have hit the bottom kind of thing, or did you hear her hit liquid? There's no chance that you put them in there when they're still alive, is there?
No, God, no.
Okay. I mean, they would be able to tell that because they would get fluid in their lungs and stuff like that, so I just want to make sure, you know.
There's no chance.
Okay. Okay.
I held up.
I'm here.
Okay. So as the night goes forward, we're out on the scene, trying to recover your loved ones. So tell me again a little about that hatch. We have some guys out there who think that hatch is just too small. You think it's about what size? Let's compare it to this plate.
That's about, it's twice the size of that.
Twice the size of this plate?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it sounds crass, but did you have to kind of squeeze them in to get them down there?
I mean, wasn't right. I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to like describe it, but I mean,
Yeah. Feet first or head first?
Feet.
Okay. And then, were their arms like this, or were their arms like this? Because you're holding their arms? Okay. All right. So, I know we've asked you 1,000 times, and you're probably getting sick of it, but we're very, very concerned about how to get those kids out. You can imagine we can't really cut a hole in that tank because the sparks will blow something.
Yeah.
So, I just want to make very sure that you're 100% sure that they're in there.
Yes.
Okay. One in one, one in the other.
Yes.
Now that doesn't make sense to me. Why would you?
I wasn't making it at this point in time. I was scared out of my mind. I didn't know what to do.
Okay. So you carried one up, put her in. Did you shut it?
It just latches.
Okay. Oh, it's just a latch.
Yeah.
And then went back down, got the other one, went up the different tower. Is that how it works?
Same staircase.
Oh, it's the same to get up to both?
Yeah.
Okay. And but the two different tanks?
Yes.
Okay.
So right beside each other.
Okay. All right. And you didn't have to I know it's gross, but you don't have to.
No.
Nothing like that. Okay. All right. The one thing I really want to make sure is that you're doing so good right now and tonight. I would hate for, as we're trying to go out and get them, another accident happens and that comes back to you because we're out there because of this. You know what I mean? Like, if they're out there and they're trying to get these bodies, if they're not even in there and we're wasting our time.
Oh, no.
Okay, they're in there.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't want somebody to have a spark that blows something up, and I don't want that to come back to you. So please don't waste our time. They are out there. Okay. All right.
There's something staying here?
Yes, please.
Crime scene technicians and the Weld County coroner arrived at Cervi 319. The area was vast and silent, surrounded by open fields and the faint hum of machinery. A drone was used to survey the site, and soon investigators located a disturbed patch of earth near one of the oil tanks. They began to dig and discovered Shanann's body first, buried in a shallow grave. Nearby stood two massive oil tanks. Chris had placed one of the girls in each of the tanks. Their small bodies had been forced through an 8-inch opening at the top. The recovery operation was excruciatingly difficult and emotionally devastating for everyone involved. The bodies were so heavily saturated with oil that they couldn't be transported by air back to North Carolina for the funeral, as the remains were considered a flammability hazard. Needless to say, Shanann's family and friends were completely devastated. The Rushek family, who had spent days clinging to hope that Shanann, baby Nico, Bella, and Celeste might somehow be found alive, were now faced with an unthinkable reality. Their beloved daughter and grandchildren were gone, murdered by the very man who was supposed to protect them.
They were amazingly happy, and...
Did he snap?
He must have snapped, because there's nothing else I could figure out what happened to him. There's no words right now to say what happened.
Shannon's parents now struggling to reconcile the devoted husband they knew with the monster who took their daughter and grandchildren.
Were there any warning signs?
No.
None at all.
Chris was a kind person.
He'll do anything for you, just like Shanann.
Yeah, he would.
He seemed like the exact opposite.
He never raised his hand, voice.
No.
Never cursed at her. You know, it's amazing. It was an amazing relationship, so I just don't know.
Incredible. The community of Frederick, Colorado, and the nation as a whole were stunned. The case gripped the public, sparking outrage, heartbreak, and disbelief. How could a man who appeared to be a doting husband and father commit such unspeakable acts? In the weeks following the discovery of the bodies, the tragedy dominated headlines across the country. Candlelight vigils were held in remembrance of Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. Strangers left flowers, stuffed animals, and handwritten notes outside the Watts family home. People who had never met Shanann mourned her as though she were family, drawn to her story by the videos she had so lovingly shared online. Videos that now served as haunting echoes of the life that had been so cruelly taken away.
Hey guys. Mommy. What, baby? Say hi, Cece. Hi.
Chris Watts was charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder, unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and the unlawful disposal of human remains. Prosecutors revealed that Chris had smothered his two daughters after strangling Shanann, then loaded their bodies into his truck and driven them to the remote Anadarko oil site. The brutality of the crime was almost beyond comprehension. In November 2018, faced with overwhelming evidence and the possibility of the death penalty, he pled guilty to all charges in exchange for prosecutors removing the death penalty from consideration. His guilty plea spared the Rushek family from enduring a long and painful trial, but it did little to ease their suffering. During the sentencing hearing, Shanann's parents, Frank and Sandra Rushek, delivered emotional victim impact statements, describing their daughter as loving, selfless, and devoted. Through tears, they spoke of the deep void left in their lives and the pain of knowing their granddaughter's final moments were filled with fear.
Who dare you take the lives of my daughters Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico? I trusted you to take care of them, not kill them. And they also trusted you, the heartless monster, and then you take them out like trash. You disgust me.
We loved you like a son. We trusted you. Your faithful wife trusted you. Your children adored you, and they also trusted you. Your daughter Bella Marie sang a song proudly. I don't know if you got to see it, but it was, "Daddy, you're my hero." I have no idea who gave you the right to take their lives. But I know God and his mighty angels were there at that moment to bring them home to paradise.
Even the judge, visibly shaken, told Chris that his crimes were the most inhumane and vicious acts he had ever seen in his courtroom.
I've been a judicial officer now for starting my 17th year, and I could objectively say that this is perhaps the most inhumane and vicious crime that I have handled out of the thousands of cases that I have seen. And nothing less than a maximum sentence would be appropriate, and anything less than the maximum sentence would depreciate the seriousness of this offense.
Chris was sentenced to 5 life terms without the possibility of parole, 3 consecutive and 2 concurrent, plus an additional 84 years for tampering with the bodies and the unlawful termination of Shanann's pregnancy. He was transferred to the Dodge Correctional Institution in Wisconsin, where he remains to this day, serving out the rest of his life in isolation. Once Chris confessed, the investigation into his mistress, Nichol Kessinger, came to an abrupt halt. But the public wasn't ready to let go of her so easily. Many believed that there were still too many loose ends, too many strange coincidences surrounding her involvement. Nichol was the woman for whom Chris had risked everything: his marriage, his reputation, and ultimately his family's lives. Yet after his confession, she seemed to fade quietly from the investigation, never charged or publicly scrutinized in the way many thought she should have been. Online sleuths and crime analysts quickly uncovered details that raised serious questions about the extent of her knowledge or possible participation in the events leading up to the murders. Records revealed that Nichol's cell phone had pinged near the Watts home on the morning of the murders, a discovery that immediately fueled speculation about whether she had been closer to the crime scene than she admitted. In addition, she and Chris had spent several hours on the phone the night before the killings, with their final call ending just minutes before Shanann returned home from her business trip. Furthermore, Nichol's behavior during police interviews only deepened public suspicion. In her first interview, she appeared remarkably composed, speaking in a casual, almost detached manner about the fact that her boyfriend had just confessed to murdering his pregnant wife and 2 daughters.
So that scares you when you look back at it?
Yeah, because I think about it and I'm like, he could have had that capacity to do that whether I was in his life or not. He could have had the capacity to do that, maybe not even just to them. It could have been me. It could have been our coworkers. I mean, the more I think about it, I think a lot of people are going to probably assume that I was the catalyst for his movement, but I don't think, not me instructing him, but him deciding to do that because he had me in his life and because he was so infatuated with what we had going on. How would that go? Hey, my family just disappeared, and you think that I'm gonna just not be concerned about that?
But by her second interview, her demeanor had shifted dramatically. She appeared emotional, breaking into tears that many observers later described as forced or insincere crocodile tears, as the public dubbed them.
And I just... Oh, those little girls. They're so little. They're so little.
We talked a little bit earlier about getting some help for these things, and we can provide that.
Okay. It's so sad, and she's pregnant.
And, you know, on our end, we
God, and
didn't...
they're so cute. They're so little. Like, why? Why? How? I don't even understand how you could, like, bring yourself to do that to somebody who's, like, that big.
Despite these red flags, the official investigation into Nichol was closed. She reportedly changed her name and disappeared from the public eye, but her role in the Watts case remains one of the most debated and haunting mysteries connected to this tragedy. But the story was far from over. Months after his conviction, Chris Watts would once again sit down with investigators, this time behind prison walls, and reveal the chilling, unfiltered truth of what really happened the night his family was murdered. On February 18, 2019, FBI Special Agent Tammy Lee and CBI Agent Graham Coder traveled to the Dodge facility in Wisconsin to meet with Chris once more. They wanted answers, not about evidence or charges this time, but about the why. Why had he done it? What really happened that night? During the interview, Chris seemed almost eager to talk, as though unburdening himself from a secret he had carried too long. What he revealed was worse than what anyone had imagined. Chris admitted that Shanann hadn't attacked the girls, as he had previously claimed. He described how, after a brief argument with Shanann that turned physical, he strangled her in their bed as their daughters slept just down the hall. But the most horrifying details came when he described what happened next. After killing Shanann, Chris said Bella and Celeste woke up. Confused and frightened, Bella asked what was wrong with her mother. He told her that she wasn't feeling well. He then wrapped Shanann's body in a sheet, dragging it down the stairs as little Bella followed, clutching her blanket. He loaded Shanann's body and the two girls into his work truck, driving them 45 minutes to the remote oil site. During that drive, he said, he and the girls barely spoke. Bella was quiet, while Cece dozed on and off in the back seat. At one point, the girls were complaining about a bad smell in the cab of the truck. Their mother's body lay in the floor of the cab, just at their tiny, dangling feet. At the oil site, Chris first buried Shanann in a shallow grave, then turned to his daughters. He smothered Celeste with her favorite blanket, and afterward did the same to Bella. He said Bella fought back, struggling and crying out, "Daddy, no!" Words that would haunt investigators and the public alike when the confession was later released. When asked why he did it, Chris had no coherent answer. He said he had felt consumed by darkness, describing it as though he were outside of himself, watching a version of him carry out the acts while he felt powerless to stop it. Chris told Agent Lee that he still hears Bella's voice in his head, repeating those two words, "Daddy, no."
Girls are still in the truck.
Okay.
Did they ask you what you were doing, taking mommy out, or?
Yeah, I don't remember what I told them, but they did ask that.
What they say specifically?
It was more of like, what are you doing to mommy?
Okay. All right. And then the girls, right? Okay. You mentioned Bella was first. Cece was first. Okay. Where exactly was she when it happened?
In the back seat.
Okay. Was she just right next to Bella?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so once again, was it hand over her face? Was it?
It was a blanket over and my hand.
And then your hand. Okay. And then so that just stopped her from breathing type thing? Okay. Did she struggle at all?
I don't think so, but I was blocking her face and my hand was right here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You had one hand here and one hand over her mouth?
And were you just pushing her against the back of the seat type thing? Okay. What was Bella doing?
She was sitting there next to it. She didn't know what was going on.
Okay. Could she see you? Okay. Tell me about what you were thinking.
I wasn't. If I was thinking it's what would happen.
Yeah.
Right, any partial hint of what I feel for those girls and what I feel for my wife, but none of this would have happened, so I wasn't thinking.
Okay. So she's in the back seat. Okay. And then once she's gone, then is it Bella next, or did you pull Cece out?
I pulled Cece out.
Okay, so once Cece's gone, Bella's still there in the car alive, and then you pulled Cece out. What'd you do with her? Okay. So she went into the tank, and Bella was still in the back of the truck alive. Okay. With regard to that tank, did you bring up Cece, put her down, open the hatch?
Brought her up, opened the hatch.
And then put her in. Okay. And then went down to Bella. Tell me what happened there.
She said what happened to Cece. First she asked if it was the same thing, the exact same thing that happened to me as Cece.
Did she ask you that? Okay. So Bella's pretty smart. How did she sound when she asked you that, Chris?
She had that soft voice she always had.
Yeah. And what exactly did she say?
She said exactly the same thing that happened to me as Cece. And then I said, I don't remember what I said.
Okay.
I don't know if I just said yes like a horrible person, or if I just put that blanket over her too and did the same thing.
Same blanket, same way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She said, no, Daddy. That's the last thing she said.
Chris's second confession only deepened the darkness surrounding the case. But while the public was left reeling from the new, horrifying details, life for Chris Watts inside the Dodge Correctional Institution quietly settled into a grim routine. He was now inmate number 674796, spending his days in near total isolation, locked away for 23 hours a day. In the sterile stillness of his cell, Chris began to find new ways to fill the void. He started reading the Bible, writing letters, and corresponding with people who, despite his monstrous crimes, were fascinated by him. Among them was author Shanann, a grandmother from Wisconsin who reached out to Chris in 2019, hoping to better understand his state of mind. What began as a simple exchange of letters evolved into months of correspondence, in which Chris divulged disturbing new details about the murders and his emotional state before and after the crime. Cadle would later publish their letters and conversations in her controversial book, Letters from Christopher, The Tragic Confessions of the Watts Family Murders. In his letters, Chris also admitted to something he hadn't revealed to investigators: that he had tried to smother the girls in their beds before killing Shanann, but that they had woken up and started moving again. That revelation painted an even more disturbing picture of the hours leading up to their deaths, showing premeditation and a level of cruelty far beyond what had been previously known. Cadle's correspondence wasn't the only one that sparked public fascination. Despite his crimes, Chris received a steady flow of mail from admirers, many of them women who claimed to be in love with him. Some sent photos, others wrote long letters describing their sympathy or their belief that he had been manipulated by others. The attention baffled many observers, but underscored society's strange obsession with killers who hide behind a mask of normalcy. To the families of Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and baby Nico, Chris's claim of finding God rang hollow. No amount of faith or remorse could ever erase what he had done. Shanann's parents have since spoken publicly about their continued grief and disbelief, vowing to keep her memory alive while rejecting any attempt to humanize or redeem the man who destroyed their lives.
How do you describe your daughter?
She was fun, full of life. She did so many things. She had her hand in everything. She was amazing. I couldn't ask God for more. He really blessed us with them. You know, the children and Shannon.
What kind of mom was she?
Phenomenal.
Outrageous. She'd do anything for her children. She just loved her children, and she wanted them to have everything.
Do you believe that she was happy?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. She was extremely happy.
To this day, the Watts case remains one of the most haunting crimes in modern American history, not just for its brutality, but for the deception that preceded it. People across the world continue to dissect every detail, trying to understand how a man who appeared so ordinary could commit such extraordinary evil. Beyond the endless speculation, it's important to remember the people whose lives were lost. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and unborn baby Nico. They were more than victims. Shanann was a devoted mother and a determined woman who, despite her health struggles, radiated strength and optimism. Bella was gentle, nurturing, and protective of her little sister. Celeste was lively and fearless, the spark that lit up every room. And baby Nico, a life that never had the chance to begin, was the symbol of hope Shanann still carried, even when her world was falling apart. As the sun sets over Frederick, Colorado, the Watts family home still stands, quiet, motionless, and heavy with memories. The laughter once echoing through its rooms is gone, replaced by silence and questions that may never be answered.
Know that deep down, like in your heart, that there's a purpose, there's a reason for everything. We may not understand it at the time.